Clerk, please call the roll.
Calling the roll for the Monday, January 27, 2025 Board of Control meeting. It is 11:03 a.m. We have Levine Ross serving as an alternate for Meredith Turner.
Here.
Councilmember Michael Hauser.
Here.
Councilmember Robert Slepper.
Here.
Melanie Say serving as an alternate for Mike Dever. Michael Chambers, Fiscal Officer, serving as chairman.
Here.
Paul Porter.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Great, very good. Next on the agenda is the review and the approval of the minutes from January 21st. I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Second by Miss Melanie Say. All in favor to approve the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved. Any public comment?
No public comment?
Let's go to our first item.
First item, new item for review, BC 2025-52, Department of Information Technology submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to SHI International Corporation in the amount not to exceed $55,868.56 for joint cooperative purchase of CoreView licenses, 5,000 each, enterprise and audit, and one premium support license for the period March 25th, 2025 through March 24th, 2026, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Good morning, Dennis Sullivan with Department of IT. And it's my first time presenting in front of our two new council representatives. Welcome. This first item for IT is a joint co-op pricing via SHI for CoreView. CoreView works as a management layer for the administration of Microsoft 365. Each department then can administratively use these licenses for administrative rights for their own users within department instead of overall countywide.
Okay, Dennis, thank you. Are there questions from our board on any of these, on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilman Schlepper. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item.
Next item, BC 2025-53, Court of Common Pleas, Juvenile Court Division, submitting an amendment to an agreement with City of Lyndhurst for Community Diversion Program Services for the period January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024, to extend the time period to December 31st, 2026, to replace the insurance requirements effective January 1st, 2025, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $3,600.
Good morning, Jennifer Howard for Juvenile Court. This is another municipality for our community diversion program, which we're amending for time and extending for time and adding money.
Okay, Jennifer, thank you. Are there questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make the motion to approve the item. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
Go ahead.
Seconded by Ms. Levine Ross. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item is approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2025-54, Sheriff's Department recommending an award and submitting a purchase order with Geauga County Sheriff's Department in the amount not to exceed $475,000 for outsourcing prisoner board and care services to reduce the daily population in the Geauga County Jail for the period February 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025.
Good morning, Chris Costin, Sheriff's Department. This is where we send our inmates to Geauga County for our prisoner board and care. It reduces our population within our own jail. Our current per diem rate is $75 a day.
Okay, Chris, thank you. Are there any questions from the board on this item?
Do we have an idea roughly just the average number of individuals that are in this program at any given time? Is it fluctuate or?
So Geauga County is used as an on-needed basis. Right now, we currently have 4 inmates there. Sometimes it averages 14, 15 a month, but it all fluctuates on who we have in our own jail.
Okay, thank you.
Are there additional questions? Okay, seeing no further questions, I will make the motion to approve it. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Paul Porter. All in favor to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2025-55, Medical Examiner's Office submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to Nova Biomedical Corporation and the amount not to exceed $7,649.81 for the purchase of various standard drug, chemicals, and supplies for analytical and research development applications for the toxicology lab, and submitting a purchase order with said RFP exemption.
Hugh Shannon Medical Examiner's Office. This is just some of the basic supplies for toxicology for the next quarter.
Thank you, Hugh. Are there questions from the board on this item? Seeing no questions, I will make a motion to approve it. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilman Schlepper. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose, item approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, please.
Next item, BC 2025-56, Department of Health and Human Services, Division of Children and Family Services, and Division of Senior and Adult Services, submitting an amendment to a master contract with various providers for thermal and chemical bed bug remediation services for the period January 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2024, to extend the time period to December 31st, 2025, and for additional funds in the total amount not to exceed $175,000 as listed for items A and B on the printed agenda.
Good morning, Marcos Cortez with Health and Human Services. Again, this is a contract amendment for extermination services for both child welfare and senior and adult services. We've worked with both Speed and Terminex for quite a while now, providing these bed bug extermination services.
Thank you, Marcos. Are there questions from the board on this item?
I have a quick, sorry.
Please go ahead. I just had a question about where these services are being used. Are these in
In the
county-owned buildings, or these
No,
are
these
private
are-
residences?
Yeah, these are in the home for the residents.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you.
And just a quick question, Marcos. I know this contract was usually with senior and adult services. Did we add on children and family
No,
services?
it's actually with both. It's how it has been with both, yes.
And Marcos, is this about what we spend each year?
I'd actually have to verify that, but
Okay.
I don't believe it was an increase from last year.
Okay, good.
If I could just make one quick note about the DSAS and DCFS thing. We added DCFS probably 4 years ago, I think. It's been some time.
Okay.
But this was originally introduced, I think, as a senior and adult services program that Councilwoman Conwell wanted to have specifically for senior extermination, because it was something we were seeing on a fairly regular basis. Calls for help from DSAS, for seniors that couldn't afford extermination in their homes. So it's been both for quite some time, but way back when, it was just senior and adult services at first.
Okay, thank you.
Before my time.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Okay, seeing no further questions, I will make the motion to approve the item. Is there a second? Seconded by Miss Melanie Say. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oppose, item approved. Next item.
Next item, BC 2025-57, Department of Health and Human Services, Community Initiatives Division, Office of Homeless Services, submitting an RFP exemption, which will result in an award recommendation to the Northeast Ohio Coalition for the Homeless, and the amount not to exceed $122,211.32 for overflow shelter services for the Norma Her Women's Shelter, and to provide these services at St. Paul's Community Church, 4427 Franklin Boulevard, Cleveland, for the period January 8th, 2025 through April 30th, 2025, and submitting a contract with said RFP exemption.
Good morning again, Marcos Cortez with Health and Human Services on behalf of the Office of Homeless Services. Again, this is a new contract for overflow operations at the St. Paul Center. As you may know, the Women's Center, Norma Her, is being renovated. So we have some women still there and some women at Walton site that we have also renovated, but there's still overflow capacity needed. So St. Paul serves as that overflow. The previous vendor that was operating didn't give us a whole lot of time that they were going to cease operations, and we were able to work with NEOC. We also have Latrell Hairston here, who's actually doing the boots on the ground operations at night, who have agreed to provide these services. Contract is only for 4 months because we haven't really worked with NEOC and Latrell in the past. We want to see how it goes before we commit to a longer-term contract.
Thank you, Marcos. Questions, please.
Marco, I understand the need. How are we measuring how many people, how many women actually use the services at St. Paul's? And then how are we getting the word out that we have these services at St. Paul's? Is this through Latrell? Is he...
So these are the women that they're either at Norma Her or Walton, and
Okay.
so they're picked up on a regular basis because they don't have the capacity there.
Okay.
They're bused to the overflow site each night,
Okay,
and then they're brought back in the morning.
thank you.
Please.
Just a quick question. How many women are served at the overflow site at St. Paul's right now, nightly? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, 40 is
Okay.
currently based on, I think, what they have like in terms of mats and cots. But depending on what the capacity, what we're allowed, I think they could go to capacity.
And do they get the same similar services that they would at Norma Hair, like just like a nightly meal and so forth? Or do they get that first at Norma Hair and then they're transferred over?
Nice to meet everyone. I am Latrell. So the services that we provide is just overnight. We're not contracted to do the food or coffee or anything because they're really just coming in. They're ready to go to sleep.
Okay.
Because the time that they get there, they've already been at Norma Her for that day. So they're not getting there till about 8, 9 o'clock. So they're kind of ready to just wind down, take some smoke breaks, and go to bed. But we are used to doing that, at accommodating them, but not at this facility. That's not just how they do it right now.
Thank you.
Are there follow-up questions from the board? Okay, seeing no further questions, I will make the motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Levine Ross. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The item is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item?
Moving on to exemptions, first item, BC 2025-58, Sheriff's Department requests an alternative procurement process which will result in award recommendations to various providers in the total amount not to exceed $60,000 for various purchases for food service operations in the jail kitchen, effective Board of Control approval through December 31st, 2026, as listed for items A through D on the printed agenda.
Chris Coslin, Sheriff's Department. This is our yearly alternative procurement where we set up not to exceed POs for the 4 vendors that are listed for inside the jail.
Okay. Thank you, Chris. Are there questions from the board? Okay, seeing no further questions, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilman Schlepper. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item approved. Next item?
Next item, BC 2025-59, Sheriff's Department requesting an alternative procurement process which will result in award recommendations to various providers in the total amount not to exceed $75,000 for various equipment repairs in the jail facilities, effective Board of Control approval through December 31st, 2026, as listed for items A through C on the printed agenda.
Chris Coslin, Sheriff's Department. Just like the item before, this is our alternative procurement where we have not to exceed POs for repairs done inside the kitchen.
Okay, Chris, thank you again. Are there any questions from the board on this item? Seeing no further questions, I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second?
Second by Mr. Paul Porter. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The item is approved. Moving on.
Moving on to consent agenda items BC 2025-60 through BC 2025-63.
Okay, board members, just a couple items. I see we have our Inspector General here, if you'd like to ask her any questions on item number 61, but hold on, let's see. Do we need a little more time, or are we good? We're good?
Good.
Okay. If we're good, then I will make a motion to approve today's consent agenda items as listed. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Melanie Say. All in favor to approve, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is approved. Moving on to other business.
No other business?
Any public comment?
No public comment?
I will make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Levine Ross. All in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Item approved. Did you?
Sure changed on that last.